In today's video, what is bodybuilding?
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and in today's video I want to talk about what bodybuilding is, what defines bodybuilding. And there are two separate schools of bodybuilding thought. First, bodybuilding could just be anybody who's interested in putting on some muscle. You're building your body. But I want to talk more specifically about what is bodybuilding competition, because I think there is a lot of information going around and maybe it's not clear. So what I thought I would do is share my journey of what a bodybuilding competition is. So my first venture into bodybuilding competitions would be through the magazines that I was buying in the 80s, maybe the 90s, and looking through and seeing the pictures of the guys on stage all ripped and, gnarly and veiny and fake tanned and all that stuff, and thinking, wow, those guys look amazing. I'm gonna go do some dumbbell curls and some bench press, and I'm gonna see if I can look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Didn't happen. But what I did find was that I loved that process. I loved going to the gym. But I put in my mind that I would never ever be a competitive bodybuilder because I thought, well, I don't look like those guys. I don't look like the people. But I loved the gym. I was a gym rat. I would go for months at a time, and I would get frustrated at times and take a little bit of time off here and there. But I always found my way back into the gym. You see, for me, bodybuilding was an outlet. I grew up playing sports. In fact, I played a lot of sports. I played high school basketball, I played high school baseball, I played volleyball tournaments quite frequently. I played just about any sport I could get my hands on. Me and my friends would even go find tennis balls in the woods at our local tennis court and go hit tennis balls for hours at a time. Whatever we could do to play sports, we would play sports. Well, lo and behold, my college baseball career ended and it left me with a lot of free time. But during that time, I had started lifting weights. We had a strength and conditioning coach at our college who put us through some weight training. I had lifted weights in high school, kind of gotten a little obsessed with it. And so when that all ended is when my passion for the gym began. Not knowing that it would ever lead to a bodybuilding stage, I just knew that I loved going in the gym. I probably liked the feedback early on the best because I was very tall, very thin, and people would say, oh, it looks like you put on some muscle. Boom, that would just light up my brain with like, oh man, I must double my efforts. I must buy the supplements. I must eat the protein. I must lift all the weights. I must do that magic program. And it just continued like that for a long time until someone said to me, hey, you should do a bodybuilding competition. And it was a guy in my gym who had clearly done bodybuilding competitions. He was jacked and shredded. And when he said it to me, I didn't think much of it. But then he said something after that. He said, you're in here every day. You love the gym. You might as well do a bodybuilding competition because you're already halfway there. And I thought, wow, I guess I'll check it out. Because lo and behold, I had never actually gone to a bodybuilding competition. I had just assumed I didn't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jay Cutler or Dorian Yates or any of the guys who were famous at that time, so I don't need to be a bodybuilder. Well, I went to a local show. It was 2007. In fact, Jay Cutler was there guest posing, and he was in the lobby, and I saw him up close and personal, and I thought, well, Jesus, that's the biggest human being I've ever seen. Clearly, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. But then something else happened. I went inside, sat in the auditorium, and started seeing people come out on stage. And they had different classes. So for the bodybuilders, they had teen, they had novice, they had masters, and nobody looked like Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman or Dorian Yates. In fact, there were varying degrees of muscularity, varying degrees of conditioning. Some people looked terrible, some people looked great. But at no point did I say to myself, wow, I couldn't do that. Those guys are unrealistic. In fact, I thought quite the opposite. I thought, man, I'm not too far off from that. I have a little bit of muscle. I just need to get lean like them, and perhaps I could be a competitor. And that's what I did. In 2007, I just set out a goal, the show that I went to do 1 year later in 2008. 10 years ago this year. So, what is bodybuilding? Well, for me, it is an extension of my desire to get in the gym, It keeps me driven. It keeps me motivated. And it's my outlet for my competitive desires. You see, after college baseball, I tried a few different things. I played in some basketball leagues. I played in some softball leagues. I played in some volleyball leagues. But none of them ever gave me that feedback that I really craved. And I think part of the thing that I love about bodybuilding is that it is such an individual sport. You know, team sports are really fun and I love them. But if I don't do my training, if I don't do my diet, if I don't do my cardio, I got no one to blame but me. This is all me. Yes, I have a support system. I have an amazing support system, okay? Bodybuilding at the level that I do it at is completely a luxury. You know, I have the food available, I have the time available, I have the resources available to do all this stuff, and none of that is lost on me. But the results I get are all on me, right? Like, there's no one to blame if I do something off, and there's no one to congratulate if I succeed. It's all on me. And part of that is rewarding. I don't know if that's why some people do it, but I like that factor. I like knowing that the controls are my own. So what is bodybuilding? Well, if you look at it from the perspective of getting stage lean, people will say, well, that's not good for you, that's not healthy. And that's a very common trend right now. I hear people saying that. What I would say is, I very much disagree with that, because anything that we go through in our lives to be more successful is going to be unhealthy at times. If you are going to become a doctor, you're going to go to college, you're going to go to college for a very long time. You're going to miss out on a lot of things, like being social. Same thing happens when you get into bodybuilding. You miss out on a little bit of social. You're probably going to be unhealthy with your diet because you're going to work late hours, you're going to be very highly stressed. So I don't necessarily feel that the negatives associated with bodybuilding should be amplified, because we do them to ourselves, they are a luxury, and all of it is reversible, okay? When dieting is over, when the show is over, we go back to our normal body composition, which is still going to be far and away above the normal trend of society right now. Being contest lean is insane, but being normal fit lean is still in the 1% of the population currently for health and well-being. And so that's what I go for. That's what I feel is correct. That's what I work with my clients on. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure that this is a long-term sustainable approach. Are there bad approaches that lead to bad lifestyle after? Of course. But from my perspective, my life has never been better since I started bodybuilding. I learned some key things like confidence. I set out on a goal and I achieved it. I wanted to do my first bodybuilding show and I did it. And lo and behold, I got first place in my first ever bodybuilding show class. Fantastic. I was super excited about that. It also taught me that time management is my friend. You see, when I started bodybuilding, I realized I had to plan ahead for my meals. I had to plan ahead for my day. And you know what I did? I planned ahead for my career and I went back to college, actually getting a master's degree while I was in prep. So all those things I feel were something that were a result of me getting into bodybuilding. It gave me all the confidence to do the things I needed to do. It also is the reason why I'm talking to you right now. Getting into bodybuilding gave me the ability to help others do something similar. Now, I help people in all walks of life, from competitor to overweight dad, to overweight mom, to the person that just wants to get stronger. I'm happy to help people in all capacity. None of that would be possible if I didn't first discuss my journey, share my process on the internet. So for those that are not sure what bodybuilding is, I just say go check it out for yourself. Go make your own decisions and then try it out. You might find that you find a lifelong passion, as I have, that was already built into something that I truly loved before I ever even went to a competition. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Hope I wasn't too philosophical, Paul, for you. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All by myself.